Hey, it's your boy Dr. Making Stuff, and I'm over here just editing up a video because there's been new Amazing Digital Circus stuff released. And since my previous Amazing Digital Circus video did so well, I figured, what the hey, I'll just release another one. There's a trailer, it's called Wake Up Pomni, it's time to go on an adventure, and a whole bunch of stuff is covered. New characters, I'll flash up some images of the new characters now. There's a crocodile with a hat, a bubble man, a tape recorder, which the tape recorder looks ominous and not really so much like a character, but I could be wrong about that. Some sort of fudge candy monster thing, probably to do with the episode that has to do with the Candy Kingdom, if I had to guess. A ghost, a candy princess, and the same ghost, I think, based off of the coloration, but this time it's a lady. And those seem to be all the new characters except for one purple, screaming, one of your pose figures, one of your background figure characters. So, like, does one of them wake up? Do we get to see one of the blank characters become a character in the thing? I don't know. It's interesting. And I'm trying to see if I missed any other characters. No, I didn't. Another thing about this promo was that not only is it announcing the series, but it's also announcing that episode 1 of the series is the pilot, which is, I think, a smart move. Because the pilot was amazingly popular for Digital Circus. You're never going to do those numbers on an episode 1 of anything ever again. And also, it's not like they're going to be changing the designs or anything. So why not just have it be episode 1? And this also stops them from having that 5-year hell of a boss wait. So I think that's a smart decision. We start the thing off with Pomni in bed contemplating her terrible life decisions that led her to this point. Just kidding. But, like, no, she is staring into the void. And then Kane wakes her up and tells her about the fact that they're a hit, including the fact that there's Rule 34 of everybody. And they talk about how, like, the shipping wars will begin and how, like, just interesting the fandom's going to be, and that's cool. And they talk about some of the adventures they're going to go on. I'm not going to discuss the individual adventures, just to say that, like, it looks like it's going to be an interesting season. I wonder how we're going to transition between all these different, like, settings. So I'm super duper excited for the Amazing Digital Circus, and I just wanted to do, like, a quick recap, you know what I mean, of some things I noticed. One was Kane says that he has no canonical knowledge on the internet. And this is interesting because if the game was made in the 90s, to some extent, it would make sense for Kane to not know a whole lot about the modern internet landscape. And if he could access the internet, he could probably look up a way of how to get people out of the thing or try to figure out stuff based off the previous data collected. But if he doesn't have access to, like, algorithms, he doesn't have access to programs, he doesn't have access to advanced tech from the internet to help him solve the problem of getting the characters out of the Digital Circus, then it makes sense that he can't create an exit, especially if they're not connected. Because he said in episode 1 that he was trying to make an exit, but he doesn't know where it would lead to. And I guess if there's no internet, you know, then he doesn't really know anything about their situation or where they come from or whatever. So that's interesting that he might be pulling from a finite resource of information, or that new information is loaded into the game separately from the web, or it's just there's all sorts of interesting implications from that. Now, when they say new characters, most of these new characters look like characters like the Zoinks or whatever from episode 1. Most of them don't, to me, smack of new characters that are actually going to be a part of the story. With the exception, maybe, of the gelatin dinosaur with a hat. He seems like a zany enough concept that he could be like an actual character. But all the rest of them very much smack to me of characters that are going to be in the individual episodes. I don't think any of these are, like, mainstays or anything like that. Despite him saying that there's going to be shipping wars or whatever, we might get one new cast member or lose one cast member. At one point he says Kinger with a shotgun, and Kinger with a shotgun seems like an interesting episode to me. Like, that seemed like an off kind of a thing. So we'll see what that's all about. But yeah, this is just me recapping shit that you can see in the actual trailer. But it was a fun time, and I'm glad that it was stayed tonally consistent. Like, it was a joke a minute, and, like, you know, a third of them made me laugh, which is about the same rate as the pilot, which shows that these writers still have the same chops. Like, this wasn't a one-off, you know. The actual episodes should be good. Yeah, I'm super duper excited for more Amazing Digital Circus. I enjoyed it a lot. It did fucking wonders for my channel. But yeah, I look forward to breaking down more of this show as it goes on. I'm really excited about it. I like its energy. And honestly, so far, based off of the comments from my YouTube section or whatever, I like its fan base. So let's just keep the positivity going, and I can't wait for episode 2. And yeah, it is interesting. Pomni can't really sleep because nobody can sleep, so I guess they just stare at the ceiling when they're not being sent on adventures by Kane, and that just super duper interesting. The implications are wild. Like, their biological brains not resting means that they can't have biological brains because you can only go so long without sleeping, which supports my theory that these guys are actually data from users of the game rather than actually, the people themselves. But we'll have to see. But yeah, I think it's interesting that there's like 2 levels. There's what happens in the show, and then there's the meta level. There's things you can learn from the meta level of the show that aren't in the canon of the show, and vice versa. And this kind of played with that. And I know before they had a website for the Amazing Digital Circus where there was some exclusive information as well. So I'm super excited to see these creatives seem to really play well with the fan base. See how that interplay works going forward. I do think it's interesting that canonically Kane knows that Pomni is sad or distressed in a certain way. And it's like, does he promote that or is he trying to prevent that? It's unclear how malevolent or benevolent Kane is. And this trailer sort of supports that interpretation that we're not supposed to know. That has been my review of the very short kind of mini-sode advertisement that is Pomni Wake Up, It's Time to Go on an Adventure. I mean, not only that, but there's the commercial part of it. I guess I should discuss that. There's plushes and pins, and you should support the official release by buying those things. These guys seem to have been putting a lot of hard work into their show. I'm not going to moralize to you about it, of course, as somebody who pirates half of the content on the internet, but you should, if you can, support the official release. I recently bought some pins from YouTube creator I really love, so I don't have the ability to go buy some pins, but I encourage you to if you're a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus at all. And that about wraps it up for me. This has been Dr. Making Stuff signing out.